There is a silent frustration that defines modern life for the discerning man. It is the gnawing awareness that you are playing a game, but you were never given the rule book. You operate with sincerity, transparency, and good faith. You believe in the intrinsic value of your hard work and your good intentions. Yet, you watch as others, often less competent, less sincere, ascend with ease. They navigate social and professional labyrinths with a map you cannot seem to find. Their words carry weight that yours do not. Their boundaries are respected while yours are tested. They are treated as forces to be reckoned with, while you are treated as a resource to be utilized. This is not a failure of your character. It is a failure of your understanding. You have been taught the morality of a world that does not exist. You have been given a code of ethics for saints, and then released into an arena of gladiators. The frustration you feel is the friction between your map and the actual territory. Today, we correct this navigational error. We turn to a teacher who was condemned for centuries precisely because he dared to draw the map as it truly is, not as we wish it were. We turn to Machiavelli, 500 years ago, in a world of cutthroat politics and shifting alliances. This Florentine diplomat and political theorist wrote a manuscript that would become one of the most feared and revered texts on power ever produced. The Prince of Machiavelli was not a monster. He was a political scientist, a pragmatist. His project was not to promote evil, but to diagnose the mechanics of power with brutal honesty. He was the first to distinguish between what he called the imagined reality and the effectual truth. The imagined reality is the world of how we think things should work. A world where fairness is automatic, good deeds are always rewarded, and sincerity is always recognized. The effectual truth is the world of how things actually work. It is the unforgiving reality of human interests, ambition, and the silent, ceaseless negotiation for power. Machiavelli's work provides the intellectual justification for the pain you feel. It validates the suspicion that there are unspoken rules at play. His central thesis is simple and terrifying. To survive and thrive, one must understand human nature as it is, not as one wishes it to be. To master the game, you must first accept its existence. You must learn the principles that govern the acquisition and maintenance of respect and influence. The first and most fundamental rule is the primacy of appearances. Machiavelli wrote that men judge more by the eye than by the hand. For everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. Your inner world, your intentions, your hard work, your virtues, invisible to others. It is a radio signal that no one else can receive. People do not judge you on your intentions. They judge you on their perception of your strength, your competence, and your value. Consider the modern workplace. The quiet, diligent employee who completes his work flawlessly but never speaks up in meetings is often overlooked. His counterpart, who may be less competent but is skilled in the art of presentation, who speaks with confidence and projects an aura of authority, is the one who gets the promotion. This is not an injustice. This is a law of social physics. The perception of competence becomes competence in the eyes of others. The world does not have time to conduct a deep investigation into your soul. It takes shortcuts. It judges the book by its cover because it is efficient. Your task is not to lament this reality, but to master it. You must become the conscious architect of your own appearance. This is not a call for deception, but for deliberate presentation. It is about ensuring that your external signals align with your internal value. How you speak, how you carry yourself, how you dress, these are not superficial details. They are the data points from which others construct their image of you. A calm, measured tone of voice signals control. A firm posture signals confidence. A well-considered opinion, even if it is unpopular, signals intellectual independence. To ignore the science of first impressions is to willingly cede control of your own reputation to the random interpretations of others. It is strategic malpractice. The second Machiavellian principle is the economy of cruelty. This concept is often misunderstood as a license for sadism. It is not. Machiavelli observed that a leader who is hesitant to make a difficult, painful decision in the short term often creates far greater disorder and suffering in the long term. He wrote of cruelty, well used. A well-used cruelty is a single, decisive act of surgical precision that prevents 1,000 future cuts. In the modern context, this cruelty is not about physical violence. It is about social and professional decisiveness. It is the courage to say no without a lengthy, apologetic explanation. It is the willingness to fire an underperforming team member who is poisoning the morale of the entire group. This single act, though painful for one, is an act of kindness to the many who were suffering from his incompetence. It is the fortitude to set a hard boundary with a friend or family member who consistently disrespects your time and energy. The nice guy avoids these moments. He believes that by being endlessly accommodating, he is being kind. Machiavelli teaches us that this is a profound error. This is not kindness. It is weakness, masquerading as virtue. Your reluctance to be cruel in a decisive moment does not create harmony. It creates chaos. It signals to everyone that your boundaries are permeable and your will is weak. It teaches people that they can take advantage of you without consequence. One decisive, well-placed no earns more long-term respect than 1,000 reluctant yeses. It demonstrates that you value your own resources and that you are the ultimate authority in your own life. This leads us directly to Machiavelli's most infamous question. Is it better to be feared or to be loved? The modern mind recoils at this question. We are taught that love, connection, and collaboration are the ultimate goals. Machiavelli's response was cold and pragmatic. It is much safer to be feared than loved. Why? Because, as he states, love is preserved by the link of obligation, which, owing to the baseness of men, is broken at every opportunity for their advantage. But fear preserves you by a dread of punishment which never fails. Let us translate this for the 21st century. Love in this context is fickle. It is conditional. People love you when you are giving them what they want, your time, your approval, your resources. The moment you stop providing that utility, the love evaporates. It is an attachment to what you do for them, not to who you are. Fear, on the other hand, is not about terror. In a modern context, fear means respect. It is the fear of consequences. It is the fear of losing your respect. It is the fear of being seen as incompetent in your eyes. It is the fear of crossing a boundary you have clearly established. This form of fear is the foundation of all genuine respect. It is a recognition of your power and your self-possession. People may love the man who always says yes, but they do not respect him. They see him as a utility. They respect the man whose no is final. They respect the man who demonstrates through his actions that his standards are high and his time is valuable. This respect, born of a healthy fear of your judgment, is far more stable and enduring than the fleeting affection that comes from being endlessly agreeable. The man who is only loved is vulnerable. His power rests in the hands of others. The man who is respected or feared holds his own power. It is internal. It is unshakable. He can afford to be generous and kind because his kindness is now a choice, not a desperate plea for approval. And this brings us to the core of the Machiavellian revelation. The brutal truth you must confront. The fundamental operating system of the social world is not based on sincerity, merit, or good intentions. It is based on the perception of power. Your frustration stems from the fact that you have been sending the wrong signals. You believed you were signaling, "I am a good, reliable, and trustworthy person." But the signal that was being received was, "I am a safe, unthreatening, and exploitable resource." This is the tragic misinterpretation that lies at the heart of the nice guy paradox. Your virtue has been misread as a lack of strength. This is not a moral failing on the part of the world. It is a biological and social reality. Human beings are wired to assess threats and opportunities. They are drawn to power and seek to avoid weakness. When you project agreeableness without a backbone of strength, you are classified as a resource, not a peer. When you give without demonstrating the power to withhold, your giving is not seen as generosity. It is seen as an obligation. The world does not respond to who you are. It responds to the power it believes you command. Power is not about aggression or dominance. It is the quiet, undeniable ability to affect your environment. It is the agency to pursue your goals. The respect you crave will not be granted to you based on the purity of your intentions. It will be granted based on the perceived consequences of disrespecting you. This is the effectual truth. It is a harsh and uncomfortable algorithm, but ignoring it is like trying to build a skyscraper without understanding the law of gravity. Your good intentions are the blueprint, but the laws of social physics, the principles of power, are the foundation upon which you must build. So what is the path forward? The solution is not to become a tyrant. It is not to abandon your ethics and become the duplicitous actor you despise. That would be a superficial and ultimately self-defeating interpretation. Machiavelli's lessons are not a prescription for monstrous behavior. They are a diagnostic tool. A pair of glasses that allows you to see the world with stark, unfiltered clarity. The intellectual tool you must acquire is what we will call the Machiavellian gaze. This is not a set of actions, but a mode of perception. It is the conscious decision to analyze the world as a dynamic system of interests and power, rather than a stage for moral plays. First, with the Machiavellian gaze, you learn to analyze interests, not words. When someone makes a request or a promise, you look past the surface-level language. You ask yourself, what does this person have to gain? What are their underlying incentives? What are they not saying? This is not cynicism, it is strategic realism. It allows you to anticipate people's actions based on their interests, which are a far more reliable predictor than their stated intentions. Second, the Machiavellian gaze allows you to see social interactions as negotiations. Every conversation, every meeting, is a subtle exchange where status, respect, and influence are being calibrated. By understanding this, you stop participating accidentally. You become a conscious player. You recognize when your status is being challenged, when a boundary is being tested, or when an opportunity to demonstrate value arises. You learn to manage your own signals with the same care that a skilled diplomat manages his words. Third, the Machiavellian gaze forces you to adopt a posture of strategic patience. Machiavelli understood that power is a long game. You no longer react emotionally to every slight or provocation. An insult from an inferior is not an attack to be avenged. It is merely data about their character. You learn to choose your battles. You conserve your energy for the conflicts that truly matter for the advancement of your long-term goals. This gaze detaches your ego from the outcome of minor skirmishes, granting you the emotional stability that is, in itself, a profound form of power. Acquiring this gaze is the true key. It is the silent knowledge that separates the master from the pawn. It allows you to protect yourself from manipulation because you can now recognize its mechanics. It allows you to act with greater purpose because you understand the landscape you are moving through. And, paradoxically, it allows you to be genuinely virtuous. A man who understands the rules of power can afford to be truly generous. His kindness is no longer a weakness to be exploited, but a strategic choice deployed from a position of strength. He can build alliances based on mutual respect and shared interests, not on naive hope. Machiavelli did not write a guide on how to be evil. He wrote a guide on how to defend against the evil and ambitious in the world. He gave you the enemy's playbook, not so you would become the enemy, but so you would never again be their victim. Stop judging the world for not living up to your ideals. That is a form of intellectual vanity. Instead, accept the effectual truth of human nature. See the hidden architecture of power all around you. Learn to wear armor, not to hide your heart, but to protect it. Master the unspoken rules, not to deceive, but to ensure that the value you possess and the intentions you hold are finally given the respect they deserve. This is the key to deciphering the code. This is the beginning of your power.